What is going on, Rivian fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to go over the data points and touch on why I feel next week you're going to see a nice reset with a lot of good undervalued growth stocks such as Rivian, so potentially causing a little bit more of a value rally. So I'm going to go over all that. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. Without further ado, let's get right to it. So it is currently down 0.75%, but you can already tell based on intraday, it does have the momentum behind the scenes to go up. Just unfortunately, broader kind of economic concerns continue to pop up. Most recently is Deutsche Bank. So Deutsche Bank obviously is out of Germany and it's down quite a lot. So in general, I think that's a little bit more of a step higher than the regional banks as far as concerns. So in general, this is what's causing the markets to once again have a little bit more of a ripple effect. But I just want to put it in perspective on how, in comparison from Rivian to other EVs, Rivian is at a massive discount. And I like to look at the numbers, take the emotion out of investing and look at the plain numbers. So for instance, the multiple on Rivian right now, it is trading at 7.7, which is completely insanely low. For instance, if you are looking for a comparison, Lucid is around 15, give or take, and Rivian and Lucid I think are the most comparable EVs. Obviously they started deliveries at the same time. Both are encountering issues, different issues, but still issues per se. So I think in general, the fact that it's trading at 7.7, it's just mind-bogglingly low. And even looking at the next 12 months, it's 3.1. So in general, a lot of people have almost zero expectation or assumption or hope with Rivian, and it just doesn't make sense to me. So in general, I think this is why you need to really do your own due diligence and take advantage of discounted prices, because as I've said in the past already, currently based on the fib levels, it's even outside of the S3. So it's completely just slammed massively. Looking at stochastic, it says the exact same thing, but even though it is down a little bit, it does have a deviation, black line above the red, showing a underlying bullish sentiment. So like I said, behind the scenes, there is some momentum. People do know that Rivian is seen as a discount. They're just looking for a little bit more of a calming within the market. And unfortunately, I think ever since 2021, a lot of investors kind of forget things very, very fast. And of course, that might be very beneficial because this week there was Powell. There's also from the previous week, there's the banking, the regional banks. Today seems to be Deutsche Bank, but starting on Monday, that should reset. I know it's kind of a stupid way to think, but unfortunately, that's the market that we are in. People seem to forget last week's news like it was years ago. But in Rivian's case, that might actually work to its favor because, of course, based on the technicals and just the multiples on it, this is one of the most heavily discounted stocks out there, especially for EVs. So especially if you kind of wipe away all the tentative short-term fears, this is where Rivian should be able to bounce back to around this fib level at least. So the 1425, that's just my own interpretation. Of course, at the 1425, then this is where it needs a good little bit more of an additional boost or something positive coming from Rivian itself to get it past that resistance point. And of course, if it does, then it can easily trade between that 1425 and 1623. But of course, my crystal ball isn't always right all the time. I'm not a financial advisor. I just like to point out things that are abnormal. And right now, Rivian trading at this discounted price because the mere fact that they're burning through so much cash is causing so much fear. But yet they have, like I've been saying, they have around $12 billion in cash and cash equivalents versus their market cap is 12.59 billion. So something just doesn't add up, plain and simple. So once again, you need to always buy when there is a lot of blood. That's usually when you find the best deals out there. But of course, some people are very much scared about its competition. So for instance, Ford recently announced their lineup and the new pricing, so forth. So I think in general, some people are very much worried about Rivian's competition. And of course, that is something to be truly worried about. So for instance, Ford, that can really ramp up on their production, and they technically are still burning through a lot of cash, but they do have ability to really have the economies of scale versus Rivian. They're still trying to assemble a lot of things based on their own infrastructure within their company. But of course, once Rivian does in fact get that whole system down operationally, this is where you're going to see 2-3x based on these prices alone. And you can already tell based on the dark pool and the secondary market, a lot more big money is getting in, abnormally in fact. So of course, I do compare and I look at a lot of different stocks, a lot of different EVs. And for instance, this is different with Rivian. Rivian is getting, and you do see a noticeable increase in the number of institutions getting in versus a lot of other EVs. It looks like they're taking a step back. So of course, this is why I always do say that institutions are more than happy to buy your available shares at discounted prices. But like I've said in the past, there is no specific news itself for Rivian. So this is why in general, you need to do your own due diligence, because if you're trusting and relying on someone else's kind of due diligence and it goes sour, then guess what? You second guess your investment immediately and you sell out, you paper hand. And unfortunately, that's just the life cycle of retail. Very rarely do retail investors trust their due diligence and kind of stick to it. Like I said, Rivian could burn through and continue to burn through a lot of cash, but bigger picture, that's where you have to think of when it comes down to Rivian. But I'm not a financial advisor, like I said. When it comes down to the options activity, I'll give you guys a quick overview of that. So it is a little bit more mixed, so evenly divided today. The market just opened around an hour ago. So the call premium around 100,000 and put premium around 97,000. So clearly very much mixed in that regard. And based on the most active chains, it does look like a lot of extreme downtrend is anticipated. So you can even see $2.50 strike price for this upcoming September. So definitely whoever that is that had 1600 volume based on that clearly is assuming that there is going to be a very big recession coming. Like I said, probably because of the whole Deutsche Bank kind of scenario. But I'll give you guys a quick overview of shorts as well. Like I've said in the past, I don't see them squeezing, but it's a good benchmark to look at. Short square is currently 60, utilization is 38. And as far as what shorts are doing today, they're increasing 90,000 shares. But once again, I think that's been more of a common trend over the last little bit, because 90,000 is absolutely nothing, considering there's almost about 53 million shares being shorted, which works out to be about 8.77% of the free float. But like I said, looking at a lot of the indicators, it is still very much oversold. Number of retail investors are getting out a little bit, and you can tell that based on the momentum indicator. But like I said, we are kind of in a gray zone, in a little bit more of an unknown territory. So hypothetically, this is why I feel that it is at a very substantial discount and it should bounce to this 1425 early next week. But of course, my crystal ball might not always be right, like I already said. But without further ado, I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know your thoughts as well, where Rivian might be potentially going in the short term. Are you a buyer at this price? Are you waiting for a pullback to 10, or potentially based on this option, $2.50, or where are you buying at this stage? And also, if you do like my channel and want to support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. One final thing I just wanted to share with you, I've been really sharing this over the last couple of videos, and it is with moomoo. So there's a good promo only up until March 31st. If you just sign up for a free account, you get one free stock. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So even if you just do that, take advantage of that one free share, no harm, no foul, and you could get something very much substantial for free. So make sure you guys take advantage of that. Link in the description below and also the comments. And without further ado, I appreciate you guys watching. Let's all make a lot of money on Rivian.